Hello everybody and welcome to Poole Railway Station. Now if you have watched my videos for the past few years, you probably know why I'm down here. Yes, I'm down here to go to the Swanage Railway Diesel Gala, but I'm also down here to ride on some more buses. My first bus was actually running late, which is not like Morebus at all. Usually they're pretty on time, but then again this was the 40 bus route, which does get prone to a lot of summer traffic. I'd just be taking this about 5 minutes down the road to Poole bus station. This was a Purbeck Breezer bus and was a Volvo B5TL MCV Evo SETI.
Not very often, but when she does. No, well, not enough for it alive, but there are I mean, she was a very I didn't know, see what we can find, but we'll try something. I was busy looking at the traffic.
Here I am arriving into the iconic Poole bus station. Now in the summertime, usually there are 2 or 3 different operators, but this year, since First Bus no longer operate the X54 to Poole, Morebus will be the sole operator for the bus station, and will be the sole operator for future years to come, unless something drastic happens, like a new bus operator comes in or something. Now before I went on my first proper Morebus of the video, I decided to have a look at the Poole Morebus depot. This is tucked around the back of the Dolphin Shopping Centre and Poole High Street. Last time I came here, there are quite a few interesting buses, such as ex-Blue Star and Dennis Trident Parkstone Presidents, otherwise known as Thunderbolt. This year, there weren't very many interesting buses at all, but there was a spare Optare Solo hanging about the place, as well as an Optare Visionaire, which I'd end up going on a little bit later on, as well as some ex-Blue Star Enviro 400 MMCs that had just transferred down to Morebus. Here's my first bus of the trip, which is a Morebus Optare Solo SR. There aren't too many of these, and almost all of them operate on the Route 1 around Poole Town Centre, with all of the others operating on the Ringwood Town services. I'll be taking this to the top of Poole High Street. Here I am back at Poole railway station on the other side of the railway line where the station building is located. If you want Poole town centre and the harbour side, you're better off using the Route 1, but if you want the bus station to change onto other local services or to get to the high street, then you're better off using some of the other services which drop off and pick up on the other side of the railway line. Here is this Morebus Opta Solo SR leaving the top of the high street to continue its circular tour around the town centre and harbour side. Now my next bus was going to be the Purbeck Breezer Route 60, but since I'd be taking it to Rockley Park and then back to Poole, I thought that would waste a lot of time and the number 60 was running late anyway, so I decided to head back down to Poole bus station.
We've got the sirloin steak at the price now. 6 amazing sirloins for just £20.
Asparagus, 3 bunches in there, quid. Like what's the cheap? 3 bunches in there, quid.
This asparagus here, 3 bunches for £1.
Solid, solid.
Here I am back at Poole bus station to get on my next bus, which is going to be one of the almost brand new Enviro 400 MMCs on the M1 M2 services. This particular vehicle would be on the M2 service and I would take it to Parkstone. Here I am getting off the M2 bus in Parkstone, where I ended up having a 1-minute connection, and I actually made it onto my next bus, which is this quite old and very knackered Opta Solo. Although on the outside it was in good condition, on the inside I wouldn't say so much. I'd be taking this into the depth of Parkstone, into the local housing estates. This one Opta Solo did the 7A, 7B and 7C, and usually they use one vehicle for the whole day on the 7A, B and C routes. The Opta Solos with Morebus usually do little routes that nobody's really interested in, such as the 7 series of routes around Parkstone. Just then you also saw the go-ahead ADL Enviro 400 EV. I unfortunately didn't manage to get on that, however I did manage to get on a few better vehicles, let's say. here's my next bus arriving into the local bus stop in the local housing estate near Parkstone. Now this was on the 16 service and would take me to Westbourne, but this service did have a final destination of Bournemouth town centre. Now most of the vehicles on the 16 and 17 route, as well as a few other routes in this local area, had Scania Omni-Cities on them. However, just my luck, I had the one Enviro 400 MMC on the 16 route, with the rest of the vehicles being Omni-Cities. Here I am alighting the bus at Westbourne Arcade to change onto the Purbeck Breezer 70 service. Now I did hope to have one of the really old and really rare ex-yellow buses, Volvo B70L East Lancs Viking, fully open top buses. Unfortunately, it just so happened on the day that I was on the service, they had a Scania Optare Visionaire. It is still quite nice to get on one of these Optare Visionaire vehicles, but I would have preferred an open top B7 Viking. Anyway, I'll be taking this to Eastcliff once again. Here I am departing Bournemouth Square. This is where most of the local bus services congregate, even though the main bus station is located at Bournemouth Railway Station near the Asda store and National Express stops.
Definitely not. She's going down to have a child in winter.
Yeah, but it on a basket which is the service. Yeah, it'd be at 33.
There goes that Scania MT30UD Octave Visionaire on the 70 service, heading back towards Bournemouth and Alan Chine. Here I am now at East Cliff. As much as it's a great area and I would love to spend some more time here just relaxing instead of riding around on lots and lots of buses, unfortunately, just like every day, I did have a bus to catch. My next bus was an ADL Enviro 200 MMC on the 33 service, which originated in Christchurch. I will be taking this just on a 5-minute journey through Bournemouth to get to Bournemouth Square, where the main local bus stops are. Here I am arriving back at Bournemouth Square, where there are a number of buses just sat there waiting to depart, either with or without a driver. This is quite often where drivers have their break, since it's technically the main bus station in Bournemouth, even though, like I said earlier, the bus station is actually situated at the railway station. Here is my next bus arriving into Bournemouth Square, which is a Volvo B70L East Lancs Millennium Viking in the New Forest Tour blue livery. In the summer, this vehicle, just like a few of the other Purbeck Breezer vehicles, gets converted to open top and runs on the New Forest Tour routes around Lyndhurst and the rest of the New Forest. For now though, the summer season actually hadn't started, so this was on the 5A service, which goes all the way to Kinston. I would be taking this as far as Winton Banks. Arriving at Bournemouth railway station, which is where the bus station is technically located, even though most of the bus services don't go to the railway station. Here there are a few local buses as well as a National Express coach. Here is that Volvo B70L East Lancs Millennium Viking that I took from Bournemouth, which is on the 5A service. From here, Winton Banks, the 5 and 5A services continue on to Kinston. Anyway, my next bus was just a Scania Omnicity, which I'd end up going on a little bit later on anyway. This was on one of the local services heading towards Poole. Here is my next bus on the 40 service to take me out onto the wider Morebus network. This was on the 40 service, which would take me down to Corfe Castle and Swanage. This was another Scania Omnicity, which did make a change from the Purbeck Breezer MCV Evo-City vehicles, although saying that, I think I prefer the Evo-Cities to the Omnicities. I'm not too sure which type of Omnicity this was, since Morebus have both Scania N230 and N270 UD Omnicity vehicles. Whatever type of Omnicity it was an Omnicity, and therefore the seats at the back were very uncomfortable. Here I am arriving at Wareham railway station, where there is an old Dennis Start MPD Alexander vehicle. I'm not too sure which type of Alexander it is. Whatever type it is, it's just sat there, probably being used as some sort of cafe or restaurant at the local railway station. Here we are passing through Wareham town centre itself, which is very nice and does have a small little quay sign, which I find very nice indeed. Here I am arriving into Swanage bus station, otherwise known to everybody else other than Morebus as Swanage railway station. Here I had around 40 minutes to get on my next bus. You can probably guess what bus it is going to be.
Your spoon.
Here is my next bus. If you didn't guess it, it was the Purbeck Breezer Route 50. This time, just like last year, I did get a proper 50 bus, and it was of course an open topper, because on the day I was actually filming this, there are quite a few non-open top vehicles on the 50, so I was quite lucky to get this vehicle. I love a good open topper, and the weather was absolutely stunning on this Saturday evening. Since the 60 Harbour Breezer bus doesn't operate between Poole and Sandbanks on a Saturday night, I decided to get this bus all the way to Bournemouth Square. Here I am passing through Studland, which is quite a nice village located in between the Sandbanks Ferry, Shell Bay and Swanage. Here it looks like there are some very posh houses. They're almost mansions compared to my house. Here I am arriving at the iconic Sandbanks Ferry. This is a cable-hauled ferry and hauls passengers mainly in motor vehicles between Studland and Sandbanks. Here, the number 50 bus got a little late, however the views were still absolutely amazing. This is the only way for the bus to get from Swanage to Bournemouth without going via Poole, which adds a very, very long time onto the journey, considering that the journey using the ferry takes over an hour. Here I am passing through Sandbanks, which is known for its very posh houses, a bit like the ones we saw earlier on in Studland. Apart from nice beaches and very posh houses, there isn't really much here. Although saying that, in the daytime you can change here for the 60 service, which will take you to Lilliput, Poole Town Centre and Rockley Park.
Should I ask what the price is?
No, I think maybe.
So try again. There you go.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Dan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here goes that Volvo B5TL MCV Evo SETI open top bus on its way to Bournemouth railway station. I alighted at Bournemouth Square to get on one of the M1 and M2 buses back to Poole bus station. I didn't really film much on this, however it was another Enviro 400 MMC and this time it was on the M1 instead of the M2.
Az az igazság, hogy én csak végigfelek a beadatásba az egész elmentek, hogy mi akar lenni ez az egész.
Yeah. But like, I'll be lying in my bed and open it first thing in the morning and it'll be like, it's going too fast. I'm like, it'll like run for no reason. Yeah. Like, I'm in bed right now. Like,
Next stop, Tennyson Buildings.
Hogyha nem látok egy-két hónapon belül javulást,
M1 to
Here I am arriving back at Poole bus station, iconic for being Britain's most ugliest bus station. I'm kidding of course, but it is quite ugly to a lot of people since it's built into the Dolphin shopping centre. I quite like the bus station though, although saying that, at this time of night most of the buses are on the M1 and M2 corridor. Now I'm back at Poole bus station and it's around 9:30 at night. I'm just going to say thank you very much to everybody who has watched this video and continues to support the channel just by watching the video. Not even subscribing or liking. If you watch the video, you're still supporting Fred's Train and Bus Vids. I do quite like filming these videos, however the editing bit is just completely awful. I'm so bad at it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Probably on some more buses, let's be honest. Bye everyone!